Hello and welcome back to the Lowdown, everybody. Mikey McCubbin is in New York, but I am joined by two of the best around. Mr. Alex Moneypenny.
Hello, sir.
Arsenal fan, different knock, etc. How are you?
Good. Looking forward to the Sunderland Arsenal combined 11.
Yes. Yeah. We are doing a Premier League team of the season so far, but I'm sure there'll be a few entries of different teams. And Mr. Sam Obaseki always represents his beloved Blues very strongly indeed. How are you, Oba?
I'm good. No agendas though. This is the straight football, the love of the game, love of players. That's what I'm saying.
Love it.
Because everyone expects there to be agendas when I'm on and mentioning too many Chelsea players. So just letting you know, I've been very
Fair.
Okay.
Well, I mean, guys, let's waste no time. Let's get straight into it. We'll start at the back. I think we're all probably playing a similar formation, but we can discuss that. Goalkeeper, team of the season. Alex, who's your goalkeeper pick?
So I think Roefs is the pick. Can I make a case for David Raya?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I think, and the problem is this video is going to start with a lot of defenders and goalkeepers, and it's going to feel like I'm spreading the agendas. But I promise I'm less Arsenal heavy further up the pitch. Look, I think Roefs, in terms of the impact in the league, he is like a young Van der Sar to me. I mean, honestly, how much was he? 10 million.
Yeah,
it's extraordinary. The game against, I think it was the Forest game in particular, where he was just extraordinary. So I think he is the pick. Raya is I think I remember the number correctly. I won't look at my notes. 50 clean sheets in 110 Arsenal games. That is extraordinary. I think it's the quickest it's ever been done for Arsenal. And look, people will look at, of course, how Arsenal defend the box. They'll look at the amount of shots on target. They'll look at the context he's in, and that's fair. But when you are putting up that many clean sheets, when you are putting up the performances that he's doing, the clean sheets, the save percentage is still right up there, and he has pulled out some really good saves. It feels a bit harsh that it's just, look at the defence he's behind. Do you know what I mean? So I would love Raya to be there. It's probably Roefs though.
Fair enough. On the Raya point, does it feel like a distant memory, the whole Raya-Ramsdale debate for about 3 months?
It does, and it was weird because I remember I had this sort of copium where I was like, well, maybe he's doing this sort of dual goalkeepers thing, and I was sort of going like, he's going to play Ramsdale away, and and it's just pure copium. Mm-hmm. It was the right decision, and another one that he's been vindicated on. Arteta, we go back to Aubameyang, whoever it was, he's been proven right on a lot of these decisions. I just think for David Raya, he's so good at everything. There's probably not one thing in particular that I would say he's the best in the world at, but as an all-round goalkeeper, I really think he's right up there as top 3, top 5 in the world. Like, I just think, cross-claiming, you can play him as a centre-back, he can go off both feet. Like, you tick all the boxes he goes through. Yeah. Is he Courtois in getting down that quick, or, is he Edison? Not necessarily, but as an overall goalkeeper, I really think probably the graph looks best.
Yeah, he's so solid in every category. Yeah. Oba, did you have anyone else? Or are you going with the Sunderland hero?
Sunderland hero, man. Like that was the first name that came to mind, especially because of the fact that obviously we're friends, so you're raving about it constantly in the group chat.
See your tweets, mate.
Yeah, he's constantly. But then I've watched a few Sunderland games this season, and like you said, I think Raya, he's got a good case, but the defence in front of him is a big reason for that. And I think he's just missing those few standout Courtois type of games that we're like, okay, yeah, you are top of the top. Because I do think he's in.
He might never get them though. He might not concede 3 shots on target a game.
He might not. He might not, to be honest. But yeah, he's good for what Arsenal are, and he's contributed to what they have been in the last few years. But I think Roefs, he's just been like a breath of fresh air. Like the whole Sunderland team could have been in this whole conversation in each position, because they've just overperformed. And for him, I think he's got the second highest save percentage in the league. Like, he's just been a player that has allowed them to have confidence building from the back when things are against them, like the Arsenal game. Defensively, as a goalkeeper, they've just been solid as a unit, and I don't think there's been any other standout keepers except from these two. So yeah,
I think he's the obvious shout as well. I'm obviously a little bit biased in his favour as well, but I can't remember the last time a 22-year-old joined a league like the Premier League from outside the top 5 leagues as well. And he only had 1 season in the Eredivisie as well. I'm not saying that he'll ever achieve this, but it kind of reminds me of when Edison went to Man City, in terms of he joined from Benfica and he made such a difference to them almost instantly. And Roefs probably will never replicate anywhere close to what Edison achieved, particularly in terms of trophies. But in terms of immediate impact, I think it is kind of comparable. And he's got a really simple game. It feels perfect for 25, 26 Premier League. Like, it's not all about his distribution from the back, but in terms of his claiming of crosses, in terms of his
keeping.
he
Like
just enjoys the
fundamentals.
basics.
Yeah, the
exactly.
fundamentals. He just loves it.
He's been phenomenal, and he made one mistake for a goal that Matty Cash scored, where it was dipping low in the sun, coming down the Stadium of Light. But aside from that, he's been absolutely faultless, and we are 4th in the league right now. How long that will last for, I'm not so sure, but I think he is the pick for this. So Robin Roefs, he's in goal for us. Let's move to right back now. Unlike with the goalkeeping position, I think there are a few different names you could throw into the hat. Obba, where did you go with this one?
So this one was difficult for me, yeah, because I think the best right back in the league is Reece James. Yeah,
Ooh, okay.
I think he is the best right back. But I think what we've seen this season isn't him just at right back. We've seen him in CDM. We've seen him in so many different. We've seen him at centre back. We've seen him in different positions because he's capable of doing that. And he's not been able to. Maybe that is a reason why we've seen him so consistently. And you know, fair play to Maresca to get that out of him. But in terms of right back, I think those top two, Jurrien Timber and and Daniel Munoz. Yeah, and I've gone with Munoz. You know.
Really?
I think he's been a standout player this season. And when you look at what Crystal Palace have achieved, not just last season, but this season as well, everyone thought that it was going to fall apart because of the conversations around Gahey, you know, losing Eze as well. Defensively, they've been great. I think they've conceded the 3rd most in the league. Going forward, he's incredible. He's got 3 goals and assists. He could have a lot more, but the stability that they have in their defence, he's a big part of that. And he already knows. We've heard conversations around, you know, him being linked with Manchester United, PSG. He's come out and said that, you know, that's what he's kind of aiming towards. But he seems like that type of caliber right back, and he's proven that this season.
Okay. I mean, I think I know who Alex is going to go for, and he might well have some words about not including Jurrien Timber, because I thought he was a shoo-in for this.
No.
I mean, Alex?
Look, firstly to say Munoz is a brilliant player and a good pick. I think that there's certain things that players do in certain positions that kind of, it's an aesthetic thing that isn't necessarily, like the amount of value added versus the aesthetic. I always wonder, and because Munoz has that delivery, I think people watch him and go, oh my God, this is such a brilliant right back. But all round, Jurrien Timber, have a guess and I looked this up before, his tackle success rate this season, ground duel success rate.
75.
89%.
Wow.
Fair play.
That is crazy.
And that's the side of his game that is a complete lock-off, like what he did to Vinny Jr. in the Champions League last season. I appreciate we're looking at the Premier League this season, but he's so complete. He's taken up more advanced positions this season.
Is he complete, though?
He is.
Are we being honest about his game going forward? Are we being completely
He's been
honest?
great this season going forward.
But he's been better than last season. He's not been great. He's been better. And the thing is, I can hear what you're saying, because I spoke to an Arsenal friend about this yesterday as well. They said the exact same thing. He's been better than last season. Going forward, like, he gets into positions where if it was like a Ben White when he first jumped into the scene, or Calafiori, you'd expect a lot more, or the success rate to be higher. With him, I feel like if it was someone else, you'd get a lot more out of a right back, attacking wise. Defensively, easily the best defensive fullback currently, like, on a consistent basis.
If we were having this conversation at the beginning of the season, I'd probably agree with you. But the flip this season for both him and Calafiori, beforehand they've been the wall pass, or they've been the guy playing the 1-2. Now they're the one taking the initiative in the final third. They are making decisions. They are the ones carrying the ball. They are the one. I think Calafiori. I mean, we're not talking about Calafiori, and he's actually, spoiler alert, probably not my pick. But I think Timber, Calafiori is something like alongside Thiago and Mateta for like shots off both feet and stuff like that.
I think only Yorkers has taken more.
The amount they're involved in the final third is crazy. And Timber, I also think there's if we're talking about Reece James or whatever, there's an availability thing, and there's a kind of a meme at this point about it's off the back of an ACL, but he had a horrific injury coming into the season. And I think only now, to last season, and only now we're seeing the true level. So I understand what you're saying about last season, but I think you have to take that into account a little bit. I just think for me, in terms of receiving off both feet, angle of passes, ability to deal with stuff in the air, if you write a check, I always think about a position, if you write a checklist of all the things that a player is expected to do, for me, he's at flying colours. Whereas Munoz, I think I've seen attackers take him on, and there's been moments.
I don't necessarily agree with that last point. They obviously play such different roles, and look, Munoz has been crucial to Palace in terms of underlying numbers, having one of the best attacks in the league, which, as you say, with Eze having left, that's a huge achievement. But I do think you're underestimating Timber's impact in the final third this year. I think only Saka and Rice have created more chances, and Rice is obviously on dead balls. And he's second for passes into the box as well. I do think Calafiori is much more of the kind of, well, they're both overlapping to a certain extent, or underlapping. And Calafiori's really opening up his legs. But Timber feels like his game is becoming a lot cuter in the final third as well. And whereas I thought that White, Odegaard, Saka couldn't be topped in terms of fluidity a few years ago, I do now think that right-hand side, kind of whoever's playing in that right-hand midfield role, it looks brilliant. And I think a Timber is a key part to that.
I agree. To go back to the aesthetic point, if you in your head, because I can't, if you in your head could picture Timber whipping a cross in, would you rate him higher? Be honest.
It's not even just that, but that would probably make me rate him higher. But what we expect from even just traditional right backs, you expect them to be able to do that. Like you look at Porro, you look at Reece James, you look at Ben White, for example. Like these guys are able to do that. And I'm not saying
you weren't even suggesting them. You were suggesting Munoz.
No. But I should have mentioned him as well. But Munoz, he's one of those right backs that can do that as well. But I was just talking about those teams. But I think Timber is great. Like going forward, he is a lot better. But in terms of like complete fullback that we've seen this season, from what I've seen and from what I've heard from Arsenal fans as well, like I'm not just going on from my perspective. I've got a few thoughts from.
You got
Arsenal
some moles
fans.
in the camp.
No, genuinely, because
Who are you?
When I looked at the back five, it could have just been all Arsenal.
Yeah.
But then I was trying to look at other teams where we've seen their strengths and other weaknesses as well. And I think for Timber, that's an area of weakness, and for Daniel Munoz, like that's an area of strength. And on the opposite end, he's an area of strength for them defensively as well. So I thought, let me just put him in and mix it up a little bit.
We need a majority for any of these picks, and I think we'll put Timber in for now with an honourable mention for Munoz. And I do accept your point about Reece James, and his fitness has been a lot better in the last few months as well. Right, let's do the centre backs as a duo. Again, we'll come on to my picks in a second, but it, as you say, it could have very easily been an Arsenal-dominated backline, but I do think there are some other names to mention as well. Alex, who are your centre backs?
Basically, in my head, Saliba and Gabriel are there. Mm-hmm. So who I have to look around and say, who am I looking at? I think Mark Gahey's had a brilliant start to the season.
Yeah.
I think he, especially considering what happened in the summer and how he's just carried on, like that's really not easy. But when you concede so few goals, when you dominate in that way, when so few centre forwards, I think it's like 4 before the Sunderland game. Actually, it was like 4 open play goals in 2025. It's like when you have those kind of numbers, when you're that consistent.
People have just slept on the mighty Sunderland.
I can't. Yeah, exactly. Dan Ballard. But Ballard's had a brilliant start to the season. Yeah. He's probably another name in there. But like when I look at the records, I can't make that argument just because they've been there consistently. You know what I mean?
On the Gabriel potential injury, by the time this video goes out, it might be confirmed how long that is. We were talking a little bit about it before we started recording. What are your thoughts on that? Who comes in? Is it Hincapié because he's a left-footed, or is it Mosquera because he's played more minutes?
I think it has, but I think it's 1 to 2 months is the phrase. Or yeah, so I don't know if that's confirmed, but for me, I'd go Hincapié. He played for that Leverkusen team all through that unbeaten season, and he's 23 years old. I think he's captain of Ecuador. He's no scrub. He's a really, really good player and has that same sort of aggressiveness in the tackle and the bite in the tackle that Gabriel has. I think the thing for me this season with Arsenal is you would have caught me last season going injuries. We're at a point now where we've got a squad. Like we can't. Like I'm sorry,
no excuses.
I'm sorry, and I don't necessarily like that phrase because you never know.
No, but I know what Obba's doing there.
There is no excuses.
That is mind games.
What I will say is I have to be consistent. And if we'd chatted at the end of last season, I'd have said to you, look, if you've got Jack Henry Francis on the bench against PSG, I don't know what you can do. But we've built a squad now. Mosquera, Calafiori, Hincapié, Timber can play there. Ben White, you could shift Saliba over and play Ben White. There's so many options. So yeah, it's a concern, but I think that's the era we live in now.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay, so Gabriel, Saliba are your suggestions. Obba, who are yours?
Gabriel, Saliba. I was going to try to be controversial and say something. You can't look past them, to be honest. Like,
did you think about one? Maybe was one more of a guarantee than the other potentially? I feel like Gabriel has been
Gabriel's been incredible, and he was genuinely good. Obviously, I don't want this injury to affect like this, and it might not. But he was going on to be, if they won the league, like the player of the season for Arsenal. Like the goals that he's scoring defensively, like he was having that type of season. Obviously, it's a shame that he's been injured, but like you said, I think Arsenal have the best defensive depth in the league, like maybe in the world. So it's not an excuse. I don't mean it as like, oh, you have no excuse to like not win. Obviously, it comes down to like different things, but the reality is, you've now got three or four solid centre backs that could fill in for his position. But yeah, Gabriel, Saliba, they've been incredible. The goals that they score as well, defensively, like you said, the shots that you're facing, it's just, I can't put anyone above them. There's been other centre backs like Mark Gahey, like you said. I think the Man City defence of recent have been having like a late resurgence of like form that no one's really talking about, and I think that's been a big key part of them getting back to form and scoring goals and not conceding. But this season, Gabriel and Saliba, they've just been incredible.
Fair enough.
Shout for Ballard?
Yeah, I thought about it. He's actually not played every game. I thought about Mukiele, actually, because I think he's probably been even more important. I also thought about James Tarkowski, because I think he's been very solid for Everton. And look, that's a much easier team to defend in than Gabriel and Saliba, I would say, and you're required less on the ball, but I think he's been very solid. Look, for years I've been called a football hipster. I think it's because I'm bald or have glasses and a beard, or both. But I'm living up to it today. I thought it was worth mentioning Senesi from Bournemouth as well. And maybe this is a little bit of a team one for Bournemouth because they lost Zabani in the summer, they lost Kirkes, they lost Howson, Kepa obviously left in goal. And so for Bournemouth to be in the position they are, I think has in large part down to, well, the success of Diakite alongside him, and they've signed this new 18-year-old as well from Serbia who looks absolutely brilliant in the minutes he's played. But I think Senesi's kind of held it all together. And in terms of his underlying numbers, he's second for interceptions in the entire Premier League. He's second for clearances behind Van Dijk. He's actually 13th for passes into the box as well. He's 5th for passes into the final third. He's kind of doing it all and kind of going under the radar. So I did actually go with Gabriel and Senesi just to kind of shout out someone other than an Arsenal player in defence. But I'm very happy to accept Gabriel and Saliba. So let's move on to left back. Now, I actually found left back the hardest of the position so far. I think Nico O'Reilly probably deserves a shout from Man City.
For sure.
Oba, who was your left back pick?
Cucurella, I think.
Shock.
Is it a shock though? Like,
He's been brilliant for a long time.
For a long time. And I think people kind of overlook it because the last season he was so consistent. Even from the second half of Pochettino when he was manager, he's just been consistent through that time for club and country, getting involved in goals, can invert.
The amount of games he's played.
Exactly. And his level of performance doesn't really drop. And I think that's why I put him here. I think Calafiori's been very good. I think O'Reilly's been really good as well. And these two players are kind of... With O'Reilly, no one expected him to be as consistent as he is at left back. With Calafiori, no one knew if he was going to be able to maintain his fitness, which he has, and we're seeing what that can achieve. But Cucurella, you just can't. I feel like there's not been a left back that has been better than him this season. So that's why I just said, and he's been a big part to what Chelsea are doing currently and what they've done last season. And I think people are kind of overlooking where we are. Like, we're not in a terrible,
especially with the injuries.
Exactly, we've had a lot of injuries, a lot of change in our defense. He's ever present. He's a leader in the side. He gets involved in big goals, can get forward defensively, gives every winger that he faces a hard time, whether they have good matches. At least they said recently he's the hardest left back he's ever played against. So yeah, man, that's why I put Cucurella. I think he's been incredible.
He does kind of remind me of not this level of player, but in terms of one-on-one defending ability, it's a little bit Ashley Cole-esque.
Yeah,
if like you've got a top right winger, you want Cucurella on him because he's
sure.
such a pain to play against as well. He's so aggressive. I think it's a decent shout. Alex, who was yours?
You know when you irrationally hate someone and then you work out why years later, you're like, oh, it's because you remind me of that person. It's Cucurella. I just, whenever I watched him, I was like, I hate you. Why do I hate you? He's so good, mate. I'm sorry. And he probably is the most, I think if we go back to completeness about Timber, he is complete. Yeah. He truly, and I've got on my notes, been good for 2 seasons as well. Do you know what it is? At 5'9" to win that much in the air as well. It's incredible. I think also the off-field stuff, you mentioned the stuff about Elise, but he feels like one of the leaders in that team. And I just do think it's worth taking, when you're watching your team and you're going, oh, God's sake, when you're watching that player, there is a reason. He's a fighter, he's a winner. I just think he, as an all-round package. If you actually look at his defensive technique, when you're talking about the sort of quality 1v1, he's so snappy. He moves his feet so quickly, gets into you so quickly, and we are seeing, Nico. How tall's Nico O'Reilly?
Massive, 6'2", 3.
How tall's Calafiori? All the other guys are, and he's a very different type, and he is annoyingly, he's brilliant.
Fair. So you're going Cucurella as well. Fair enough. Yeah, I think Cucurella is a fair shout as well. I wanted to give a shout out to Tyreek Mitchell as well. I think at left back for Palace been really, really solid. I think it's only Caicedo and Jurrien Timber who've made more defensive actions. He doesn't get He's not as thrilling going forward as Daniel Munoz and plays a slightly different role, but I think he's been very solid. But I think Cucurella is the shout. Right, let's move into midfield. I assume you guys picked a sort of midfield 3. I didn't actually specify that, so if you didn't, let's see where we get up to. I'll name my 3 and then we can kind of discuss them because I think a lot of people will have similar names. I've gone quite ultra defensive. I don't know about you guys, at least on paper. Mainly because I think so many of the 10s, like aside from maybe Szoboszlai, Odegaard's been injured, Maddison's been out, etc. Bruno Fernandes probably not been at his top best. Palmer's been injured. So I've gone for 3 absolute units, which I'd hate to play against. Granit Xhaka, Declan Rice, and Moises Caicedo. What a midfield that is!
That's exactly mine as well.
Is it?
Yeah.
I think I'll touch on Xhaka. I mean, people have heard me talk about Xhaka for the last 3 months straight, but there's always more time to talk about Granit Xhaka. I mean, what a signing. I think aside from Zubimendi, no, I'd actually put him as the signing of the season so far, ahead of Zubimendi marginally, just because of the expectations and how difficult it is to play for a newly promoted side coming in and how crucial he was to other players arriving. But the difference he's made to this side in terms of assists, chances created, the composure on the ball. He's completed, I think it's over 200 more passes than any other Sunderland player. We just would not be in this position were it not for Granit Xhaka and his level of performances. And shout out Noah Siddiqui alongside him, because Habib Diarra was the record signing. He got injured after 4 games. Noah Siddiqui has just not stopped moving since his debut against West Ham and has been brilliant. So Xhaka's the number 1 pick. And then I just got away from any debate between Rice and Caicedo by picking both of them. Oba, you were at least not privately, you're a little frustrated.
I was fuming. Don't even say little.
For anyone that didn't see, this is on Saturday Social a few weeks ago, where I was asked to say whether Moises Caicedo was the best midfielder in the Premier League. I made a case that Declan Rice is more complete,
and that could do his job.
And you couldn't.
That he couldn't do his job. But
couldn't do his job as well. Rice.
That is just not true.
Okay, where do you stand on this whole? Who's better? Who's more complete?
It's not even like a who's better thing, because I love Declan Rice. And I've loved Declan Rice since he was at West Ham. I was so for him joining Chelsea. And even when he joined Arsenal, I was telling Arsenal fans, trust me, this guy is a baller. You know, there was that 2-month period where Arsenal fans were like, oh, this is a Declan Rice we've never seen before. I was like, bro, you just didn't watch him. Because he showed all the signs that he's showing now. Obviously, he's in a better team and he's got more roles and responsibilities, but he is a complete midfielder. Yes, there's certain areas of his game that he needs someone else like a Zubimendi to accommodate for. But in terms of defense, I think him and Caicedo are a part of that old mode of box-to-box midfielders. If it was traditional and we asked them to play in a 2 midfield, they would be able to do that comfortably. If you put Caicedo and Declan Rice next to each other, you ask them to do the defensive work and ask them to do the attacking work as well, I don't think that they'll struggle playing next to each other. So that's all I was saying. So when you said that, I think you said Moises Caicedo couldn't do...
I don't think he can do it as well as Declan Rice,
because he's not asked to. But even when we've
seen evidence of Rice playing the other role to a higher standard than we have Caicedo playing Rice's role. I would say,
and that's fine. But if we ask Caicedo to play that Declan Rice role, the only thing that he probably wouldn't be able to do,
taking corners, dribbling through
set pieces, fair, but dribbling, that's what I'm saying.
I just don't think he's as good as Rice. I think he's brilliant.
Caicedo's dribbling is now slightly underrated. Him now evading space, even certain things that you say in terms of picking up the ball with pressure on you, he's very good at doing that. Way better than Declan Rice. But that's what I'm saying. You didn't really say that, and that's the thing. They're both very, very good, both amazing midfielders, and it's splitting hairs trying to.
I was asked for an opinion on it, but
it was too strong.
Was it too strong?
Don't be that strong.
I mean, judging by the reaction, I spent an hour on Sunday morning, and then I was like, "What am I doing? I just need to mute this and move on." But
I almost responded.
There was a lot of heat coming my way from Chelsea fans.
I think the Rio Ferdinand meme, just enjoy them both. Genuinely, they are that good, and I think now that the conversation has been so constant, we're seeing their games rise to different levels. We're seeing Caicedo shooting from edge of boxes, hitting it top bins. We're seeing Declan Rice not put a foot wrong with the set pieces. It just doesn't make sense how consistent it is. But both of them are quality, and I think just adding to the Xhaka point, he adds a calm to Sunderland that I feel like newly promoted sides in the last few years haven't really had. He's such and it's so interesting because he wasn't that at Arsenal.
Maybe not. Not always.
Not the calm. He was the one that needed to be calmed down. Now he's the one that's telling guys, especially against Arsenal, when everyone was trying to rush the throw-ins and rush the kicks. He was like, calm down, guys. Like, a draw's calm.
Yeah.
Like, they literally haven't conceded more than one goal. And I think that's what's going to make Sunderland stay up. That type of personality, mentality that is kind of like seeping through the side now that they're seeing him. He's getting involved in goals. He's creating big chances for them as well. And yeah, like you said, I don't think there's any number 10 that is like having an outstanding season. So yeah, I went defensive as well.
Yeah, I love him. If I ever have kids, I'm gonna ask him to be godfather.
I was going to
Honorary
call him
position.
Granit.
Yeah. Oh, Granit. Yeah, Granit Critchley. Wow.
Yeah.
What an effect.
That's a name.
Alex, you chipped in on the Rice and Caicedo, just offering me a bit of support, as did Clive, friend of the Lowdown as well. I mean, I take Obba's point that they're both spectacular players, but did your midfield both have them in as well?
I had, I think, 2 of 3 of yours.
Mm-hmm.
I had Xhaka, I had Rice, and then I had Adam Wharton.
Okay.
So
Look
look,
at that face.
we're all biased, aren't we?
No, but it's not
We're
about
all
being
biased. We're all biased.
Just be honest.
When you say players can do everything, and I can send you some data afterwards. Caicedo can do everything, but Rice is just better at a lot of the things.
That's just not
It's
true.
just, it's like if
the
you
same
go
way-
tackles and interceptions, Caicedo beats Rice. But
So
if we're going,
that's data.
yeah. But then if you go chances created, shot quality, like
Chances
if you go through
created
all
because of set pieces. It's not chances.
But there's still
open
chances
play.
created.
It's not open play. So that's where
so does,
that's
what,
where
it doesn't count.
but
So,
that's-
goals and
no.
set pieces don't count.
They do, but that's where stats are kind of skewed. Like, you can actually look at it one way. Like, he is very good at creating chances from set pieces. But if I put Caicedo on set pieces, would that now mean, because he's on set pieces, you might not score, but you have an opportunity for a chance to be created? That's not really where you should like push this argument.
Well,
like, we're talking about CDMs or like centre midfielders. Yeah, they're supposed to do it all. I can say there's certain areas of Declan Rice's game that he has over Caicedo marginally, but the same flip. Like, Caicedo has a few things over Declan Rice, but marginally. So the thing I just don't like is when you put Rice in like an extreme category when it's not extreme.
I think I've got the data.
It's not extreme.
Let me find it.
And I love Rice.
I needed this back up a few Sundays ago.
No, man.
Where are we?
What's the data say?
Let me
I can't
hang on.
imagine the data.
I think I've got it here. Can I make the case for Adam Wharton quickly?
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
So Adam
Great player
Wharton
as well.
is a fantastic player, and the reason I'd pick him, say, over like an Elliot Anderson. Oh, there we are. Have a look at that, mate. The reason I pick him over Elliot Anderson, I think Elliot Anderson is brilliant and should get a shout out here, and I think he's been a fantastic player. He feels a little bit busy for me, and I think in a whereas Forest. 15th, 16th?
No, way lower, 19th.
They're 90th. Oh, jeez. How you feeling, Sam? When you're in a team at that quality, I think it's difficult to put you in a team of the season. And also, I think Anderson is 100 touches and he's everywhere and he's all over the pitch, and that's fine. But just for my personal taste, Adam Wharton, the art of standing still, the art of just taking the ball in one fluid action and playing it forward. He's so consistent. He's so calm. I love him. For me, he's in my England midfield as well. I'd have
over Anderson.
Over Anderson, yeah. I not that Anderson's a bad player at all. I just think you get a lot of overlap with Rice, and I think a Wharton-Rice pivot is a really, really nice pick.
I agree with that point.
It's kind of the Zubimendi thing.
On these stats, I don't know if you want to look at them.
I've got them all here as well. Yeah.
I just think that when you're looking at when you're looking at the strengths of Rice, that's fine. This is literally an image of what I was saying. There's certain things that Rice is better at.
I'll put this on screen.
Extremely better at, and there's certain things that Moises Caicedo is better at, like blocks, like percentage of dribbles, tackle, like
in terms of the defensive side of the game. But that's not the only And Rice is almost as good, and then much better in other areas.
A lot of it's not almost, but even going forward, when you look at the assists and expected assists and shot chances created, that does come from the set pieces that I'm talking about. Yeah. Because if we're talking about open play, I'm seeing a few games where Declan Rice is lofting the ball over the top or playing the ball through the lines, which he's capable of doing. Sometimes it depends on the teams that they're playing and the space that is there. But a lot of it comes from set pieces, which is fine. He can be good at set pieces, but don't make that set them apart so extremely that you put them in completely different conversations, because they're not. They're in the same conversation.
But
they're in the exact same conversation.
Firstly, I think the set pieces thing is... it's part of the game. Like, I don't understand why it's like devalued because it's a set piece or whatever. It's a part of the game. It's a quality.
So is blocking.
Yeah,
so is anticipating tackles.
A lot more. Everyone has access to set pieces. Blocks, interceptions, and stuff are massively influenced by volume. If you're in the opposition's half and you got the ball and you're knocking it around, you're not going to be intercepting. And
I get that. I get that. And I
of course
don't
the numbers are skewed.
I don't want to make this a constant conversation about Declan Rice and Caicedo. Yeah, I didn't think this was
back.
I thought that it was actually going to be all of us say Caicedo and Declan Rice in the team.
I thought
you want us to be a little bit controversial, which is fine. Adam Waters had a great season. But if we talk about the way Arsenal played, I'm not saying that they play 4 set pieces, but when they are out wide, I see on multiple occasions them crossing it, knowing because of their strength from set pieces, they don't mind a corner. They don't mind it, and you have to be honest and accept that when Saka's on the right wing or Trossard's on the left wing, they've not got that much space. Then they could try and pass it back. They will hit off a defender, go for a corner. That's a bigger chance than what they would have had, and that's fine.
Okay,
but you said volume about blocks and interceptions. You have to understand that your volume now in those areas are much higher because of the strength that you had from set pieces. So that strength comes from something that you realise, that Arteta's realised that you get a lot of chances from set pieces. That's what I'm saying. I would want all of my Caicedo to be able to take free kicks and corners. He doesn't.
It's not his game.
It's not his game.
No.
But other areas of his game, like blocking, reading the game, like the pressure, is incredible. And I don't want it to be them versus each other anymore.
Yeah.
They're great.
Just enjoy
them. I accept your point. Let's move on to the composition of our England midfield, because it has been a big talking point in the last few weeks.
What midfield are we going with?
England midfield. Okay. I think it was 2 versus 1. So we've gone with the Xhaka, Caicedo, Rice. They're all in. Debate finished. The England midfield, though, is interesting. So Alex went with Wharton. Would you go with Anderson, Rice, and then a 10? And who would be that 10? There's a lot of talk, quite unnecessary talk about Jude Bellingham, I would say, at the moment as well. But who would be your midfield 3? It's
so difficult, man. It's so difficult. And I saw Zach talk about it on Saturday Social about, like, depends on the team that you're playing. But I think if I had an ideal midfield, it would be Jude Bellingham, Declan Rice, and Cole Palmer. Yeah. But then I understand, like, a level of control that England would want that we haven't had in recent years, and that people think that Declan Rice can't do that role, like the role that Anderson is doing or that Wharton's doing. I think he can do that role. I think Tuchel could coach him to do that role and to play Jude Bellingham as the Roman 8 and have Palmer as the number 10. But because of the way he is now playing his teams, I would go with you and say I'd want Wharton, Declan Rice, and Jude Bellingham or Cole Palmer.
Oh, well, that's a bit of a cop-out, isn't it?
I just don't like. I want Cole Palmer to start, but I also
surely right now, if it was like, obviously he's injured at the moment, but on the basis of what we've seen so far this season, it has to be Bellingham over Palmer. Yeah. But then by the end of this year, it could be a real debate. Yeah. So I think Cole Palmer off the bench for the final 30 minutes, like terrifying.
Yeah, that's fine. But I would start Jude Bellingham. And I think the conversation around him is just getting silly because we do it all the time to England, like our best players. And I just don't understand why we don't ever change it.
I think it's just looking for narratives when England are very good at the moment.
We've not conceded a single goal in qualifying. And we've won every single game. And you're trying to create a narrative. And it's just not working because even Tuchel is a manager that wants to get the team in harmony, working in the same direction. He wants to get everyone behind him. There was people that were hating on Tuchel at the start because of the way we were playing. Now the goals are here. Now you're getting onto a player that wasn't even playing. He's just come back into the side. He got man of the match. Why is that a conversation?
I agree with you. I thought it was really unnecessary as well. I would actually go with Anderson. I think he's looked. Wharton's barely played for England so far, but I've been so impressed with how he's taken to the international stage. And probably plays that 6 role more naturally than Wharton, who I think is maybe slightly more effective in the kind of middle and final thirds than Anderson.
You think?
Yeah, marginally.
I think Wharton, if he was to ask to sit and the way, like you said, the way he reads the game and the areas to be in to just keep things ticking and also just to defend the break, he is very good at doing that against Palace. And every time Chelsea have played them, he causes us so many issues because of his positioning. The way he reads the game, it's just perfect.
But then he often plays alongside like a Lerma or someone like that. And look, I think Wharton could do it, but I just think he's so good in the final third. Like he always looks forward, and Anderson has that trait in abundance too. I mean, it's 2 fantastic options.
Good
and
options,
actually, England midfield depth hasn't necessarily been that strong over the last few years. So to have 2 coming through at the same time, very, very exciting. Right, let's move away from midfield into the front line. Right wing. Alex, who is your right winger?
I've gone for Esteval.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'll get Oba back on side.
Wow. Yeah. That's a surprise.
Looks like he's about to shake your hand.
Fair play,
Chelsea fans write me hate comments. How do you feel now?
He has been so impressive, hasn't he?
5 and
What
5
is he?
for Brazil
What is
as
he?
well.
And I know again, it's probably team of the season, but is he like 3 off Vinny's record for Brazil? Like, he's ridiculously close to Vinny's Brazil goal record. I just think when you come from, we've seen so many of these young talents meant to come. We had a bloke called Marquinhos. I'm not saying he was in the same, but there's so many exciting young talents who come from Brazil, and you never know. And the way he's adapted to the league, he's so efficient. The thing about, sorry to make about Arsenal, but the thing about Bukayo Saka, it's like he's played that action before, and he knows exactly what he's about to do. He takes it on the back foot, he plays it off, whatever. There's never a wasted touch. Esteval has that, and at 18, I just think I don't know the numbers particularly, but when I watch him, there is just, and maybe we're going back to the aesthetic bias, maybe it's not fair, but I just get excited when I watch him, and there is something really nice about, we're in this era of everyone's 6'4" and everyone can do everything. Someone's a bit techie, just can wants to take his man on, all that stuff. I just love it. Maybe he isn't the best, but I love that he's having the impact in the Premier League. I love that.
And
I think it's a good shout.
I was also going to say, I just love the way he's being managed as well. I think everyone's expecting him to start every single game because he's doing so well, and like when he has those cameos, he's been great for Brazil. He seems like one of their star attackers, 5 and 5.
Takes their set pieces.
He's trusted.
Doesn't count them.
I love that. He's trusted for his nation. Like he's clearly respected at Chelsea, but I think Maresca's kind of taken his time with him because he knows as soon as the pressure is there for him to play week in, week out and perform week in, week out, it's different. And I think it's better for fans to want him to play than say, we need to kind of like save him from the spotlight. He's 18 years old. He's just come to England. I saw a video of him when he was training at Arsenal's training ground, and he was freezing. And he was like I think it was Gabriel Cunha was trying to hold him, telling him that he's calm. Like he's not played in England before. Do you know what I mean? He's just learning English.
Good luck this week. Yeah.
Give him time. Do you know what I mean? Like it's a long season when 4 competitions. Just take time. That's what I'd say, because I think I've seen a lot of Chelsea fans get onto Maresca and get onto like the fact that he's not playing. It's just like he's 18.
Absolutely. Plenty of time for him. I agree. I think he's been absolutely sensational in the minutes he has played. Was he your right winger though, Oba?
No, he wasn't.
Who was yours?
So my wingers, it depends. Okay, so I've put on my right wing, I've put Ndiaye, and he plays there majority of the time, innit?
Yeah, now Grealish is right.
Yeah, Grealish on the left. So yeah, Ndiaye he's my right winger, and I just think he's incredible. Like I think he's
what a player to watch.
He is that player this season where obviously having my FPL, so I'm reaping the benefits of his performances. But in terms of what Everton have been this season and the goals that he scored, and not just the goals and going forward, but the action on the opposite end, like defensively, he is so long to play against. As soon as a left back or centre back has the ball, he's just driving at them as if that they stole his money. Like he just wants to get that ball back. He wants to take on his fullback, and he's a joy to watch. And I kind of have like a different affinity with him because I watched him playing for Rising Ballers and seeing his journey from Rising Ballers to, I think there was Sheffield United, I think it was, and then he went to France, and then he came back, and I was always thinking like, is he ever going to be able to like star in the Premier League? And seeing the hunger and some of the training videos that he does to
for him as a young boy,
it's crazy. It's crazy. And seeing him shine now, I think it's 4 goals, 1 assist, top 3 take-ons in the league as well. He's doing it all, and I think he's going to keep on kicking on. Everton obviously going to want to keep him, but there's going to be a lot of top teams after him.
It's so exciting for Everton to have a player like that at their club. Just for anyone that hasn't seen it, what is Rising Ballers? What's the concept?
So Rising, at that time, they put a team together of players that were kind of out of the academies and professional game, and they would just go around like playing like Sunday league teams, Saturday league teams, like, and a lot of them got scouted for like pro teams. Some have gone on to playing like the Netherlands and like different places, but he went on to, I think he got a scholar or a contract at Sheffield United, and then he started playing for his national team as well, and he just kept on kicking on. And seeing that rise, and the fact that it's not too late. I think he was playing when he was a lot younger in a system, but then he got out of it and he just kept on working, and now he's just working at it. And Rising Ballers still do stuff like that. So yeah man, it's never too late. What
were you doing down there? Were you warming up on the sidelines?
No. My time was far gone. Them neat injuries is peak. But yeah, I've followed Rising Ballers because they genuinely want the players that aren't in those systems to actually like continue to shine, and he's a testament to that.
Yeah, absolutely amazing stuff. He scored one of the not necessarily the best goal of the season, but one of the most fun against Sunderland as well.
Yeah.
I thought that was really, really entertaining. I mean, so many of the goals Scotland scored last night against Denmark probably in the conversation for best goals of the season. I actually went with Antoine Semenyo, who has had a quieter last couple of weeks, but what a start to the season as well. And he's on 9 league goals and assists already. He's 5th for dribbles completed, I think, in the entire league. This looks like a player that, and there has been speculation about a release clause in January, I think he could kind of thrive in so many different systems as well, because he's got that explosive ability to beat a marker if he's playing up against a low block. But then in transition, this guy just eats up ground, and he doesn't even look like he has to try that hard to cover so much ground. I think he's been brilliant. And also the fact he can play on both sides, he can shoot off both feet. And similar to you with rising ballers, although obviously this is not quite the same standard, but he came on loan to Sunderland just before lockdown, and he played, I think it was 7 appearances for us, and it was obviously a pretty bleak time for the world, and whatever was going on with him and footballers, it was a really difficult time, but he didn't look particularly impressive. So I know it's 5.5 years on now, but to have got to the level where he's now 65, whatever that release clause is, 65 million looks like a kind of, not necessarily a bargain, but like a pretty decent price on the basis of his season so far. Yeah. I think he's been immense. So he was my right winger, although he has played most of his football on the left, but we'll touch on the left in a second. Actually, we might as well go to it now. I went with Jeremy Doku. I think he's been absolutely brilliant so far this season. And I like how Pep has kind of changed his role quite significantly as well. Foden feels like he's playing deeper. Jeremy Doku's kind of picking up the ball much more centrally and is taking shots from better areas. He seems more sort of efficient when he's beaten his man. He's playing a lot more with his head up. I remember, I think it was Thierry Henry on another broadcaster was talking about when he was at Belgium training, he would never be able to teach him about those kind of fast feet he does, or that jink of his hips and move. But he was trying to get him to play with a bit more of his head up. Once he's beaten a man to pick out a better chance and a better opportunity or have a shot himself. And it does also help that he played a phenomenal game in the game before the international break. So he's fresh in the mind. But I think Jeremy Doku has been immense so far.
No, he's quality. I put Semenyo on the left, to be
Did
honest.
you?
Yeah,
Fair.
I put Semenyo on the left and Ndiaye on the right. I think, like you said, Semenyo, his game has just improved so much since last season. Like, obviously, we saw the training videos and stuff like that of him focusing on his shooting. I saw the interview he did with Jamie Redknapp as well, where he mentioned like the fact that he got into such good areas last season and he just was like quite wasteful. And this season you can kind of see that he's taken a lot more thought on the type of shots that he's taking, where he's aiming it, like not dribbling when he doesn't have to dribble. If he can shoot straight away, he can deliver it straight away. And obviously Iraola's an incredible manager, but he's also putting him in positions for him to thrive and be the focal point for their attack. So yeah, I think Semenyo has been incredible. It'll be really sad to see him leave in January because Bournemouth seem like they're on the up, but release clauses are release clauses.
No, it's brutal, isn't it? And then I suppose that did save him from leaving in the summer, but it's up for debate whether Bournemouth would have preferred to lose him in the summer and have a kind of, it's so much easier to recruit in the summer than in January if he was to leave. It's obviously no guarantee. Who is your left winger, Alex?
Semenyo
as well.
I just think, the qualities you mentioned, also his ability to ride contact, I think is for what the Premier League is right now, he's absolutely perfect. Prime age, shoots, as you said, shoots off both feet, most two-footed shots in the league. I also, and again, maybe it's a bias thing, I just love the story. You sort of alluded to it, Bath City, and I think he quit football and went to some like uni thing where he got picked up again. And I love those stories because you assume, and most Premier League footballers start at 7 years old at Man City Academy, and then they make it that way. But I love the sort of those types of things. I also love the fact he's an Arsenal fan. In terms of where he goes, I'm curious on
does that interest you?
It absolutely does. It absolutely does. And previously, I would have said that's not really a move that we would make in a January, but that's until I met our famous Italian Andrea Berta. So who knows? I look at Spurs and I worry because of their Son-shaped hole, I would say, on that side. And also because there's all the talk from the ownership in the summer about, we're going to invest and we're going to do all this stuff. I think a lot of Spurs fans will think, well, go on then. We've got a hole. We've got a prime Premier League player here for £65 million who deserves a move to a Champions League club. Come on then. So I think they'll do that in January. That's my worry.
Okay, guys, we need to settle on who the composition of our forward line is. I mean, everyone's said Semenyo.
I picked Semenyo left, Esteval right, but I like the Ndiaye shout as well.
I don't mind.
So should we go Ndiaye on the right rather than Doku on the left and Semenyo on the right?
We could have Esteval in there if you wanted.
Or Esteval.
Get rid of Esteval.
No, Ndiaye. I think Ndiaye's had more.
Should we go with Ndiaye?
Yeah, he's played more minutes.
Okay,
I'll buy that.
Yeah.
Jeremy Doku, not in the
No,
squad.
Doku. just on Doku, he's had an incredible start to the season, and I think it slightly was underrated up until that Liverpool game, where because he doesn't get goals and assists that week in, week out. And I think there was a conversation the week before where they said the amount of goals that he scored this calendar year, and obviously it wasn't that many. But when you watch him, you can see the impact he's having. Even against Arsenal, when everything was against City, he was the outlet that was driving at the Arsenal defence and was causing them a few problems. And he just seems a lot more confident. He started his YouTube. I think he got engaged as well. Like, he just seems a lot more settled. So, and that is another thing that I'm going to say for my striker. But yeah, City just seem a lot more settled.
The YouTubers.
Yeah, man.
YouTubers unite. I
Find
like
enjoy.
it. Striker, I went with Igor Thiago. No, I'm joking. Although he does deserve a shout.
He does deserve a shout.
I think 8 goals in 11 games, and that was goals against Liverpool, Newcastle, Man United. Really impressive stuff, especially given his injury when he arrived. He played a handful of minutes towards the back end of last season, coming in under a new manager that didn't initially sign you. So many top attackers have left in the last 2 seasons as well. Really, really impressed with Igor Thiago, but it could only be one man. I mean, Alex, how ominous or how scary is it watching City now, still 4 points behind you, but that gap there, and they've got this freak, this goal machine in this sort of form?
Someone said to me the other day, can you believe that Haaland drinks raw milk? Yes. If I was to pick one Premier League footballer who I thought drank raw milk, it would be him. It's absolutely terrifying. I mean, there's a little bit of encouragement in the sense that he's a single point of failure to some degree. Like, he's a huge source of their goals, and if he drops out, but he is absolutely ridiculous. I was having an argument. I was having a debate with my Uber driver on the way over here.
You were arguing.
And
Stop me here right now.
Warming up for you.
He did say if I dropped another Arsenal bias take, he'd drop me off. Is Haaland already in like the GOAT Premier League conversations?
I mean,
because if you go like Suarez, for example, if you just picked a season 13-14, of course, yeah, fine. Aguero had that moment, the longevity, 100%. But in terms of just the record, and he's done it now for 3 seasons.
Yeah.
He's beginning to at least. It's not a bad shout. You know what I mean?
I don't think anyone would be like, if you had to name your 5 or 6 all-time best Premier League strikers, I'd be surprised if he wasn't included.
No, but you know what it is? If they didn't mention him, I wouldn't mind it as well, because I'm part of the old generation where I'm like, just let them finish their careers. Do you know what I mean? I think KDB, who's like,
what you were saying about Moises Caicedo.
I'm not saying it. He's one of those like KDB, for example. He's one of those players where he was like the best of his generation, and now he's in those conversations of like the best ever midfielder to play in the Premier League. When it was happening at the time, I was just like, just let him finish, and then we can have those conversations. But Haaland when he finishes, whenever he wants to leave the league, he's gonna be in the top 2-3, of course, because he just constantly scores goals. And like Doku, he just seems like he's just enjoying it more. Like, obviously, he's got over the injuries that he had last season. He's now scoring and allowing the other players around him to find their game a little bit more. Like, you won't talk about Doku scoring like 1 in 12 or whatever it is, or Foden or Semenyo or Cherki, because he's just always there. And now that Cherki and Foden and Doku are now finding their form, it's just like, it's even looking like a bigger beast for City. That's why my predictions kind of changed after the Liverpool game, because I was saying it beforehand, like they've scored 3 or 4 in their last 3 games, not conceding goals. O'Reilly's now coming into his own. Gvardiol looks settled at centre back, but with Haaland now being settled, like being who he is, but the players around him looking a lot better. Now I'm starting to think, okay, cool, they can go on that type of run that we've seen from a City team where they just win 14 games in a row and just score so many. So that's why my prediction changed a little bit. But yeah.
I think this is the most... Obviously, we can't get into what they'll achieve this season because we don't know. But in terms of a run of form, it's definitely been his most impressive of a City career, because when they won the treble, for example, that was a team that had been close to winning the treble a number of times, Champions League, near misses, etc. This is like Erling Haaland's side now. And there are other players that are performing really well in it, but they don't have Rodri still. They don't have an actual right back. There are new players that are trying to blend in, like Reinders, and Cherki's been out, and Marmouche has been out as well. It's been an unbelievable start. And what sort of pleases me most about him, because there are so many conversations over the years about how many goals any player would score for Man City. His Norway record, 55 and 48.
Ridiculous.
It's insane. I was looking at it this week. Of the players to score 50-plus international goals, no one's had a better goal-scoring rate since 1925. And the best record in the 21st century of players was Romario on 0.83 goals per game. Haaland's on 1.15. It is freakish. It dwarfs Messi,
no disrespect
Ronaldo,
for Norway as well. Like, no disrespect.
Exactly,
but,
for Norway. And they've got some brilliant attacking players, but no one you'd put into sort of a world 11.
Don't you think he just looks like a different... Obviously, he looks like a beast anyway, yeah. But now, some of the goals that he scored this season, we've seen a few in the past, but I feel like this season we've seen more of the goals where he's just bearing down on the goalkeeper and the defenders, and they're just like, we can't do anything. Like, he's just pushing people out of the way, and his game looks a lot neater. Like, his link-up play looks a lot neater.
Timing of his shots.
And even I didn't know that he took such pride in being offside, but when he mentioned it, I was like, bro, like, you aren't really offside.
Never offside. Never offside. And his touch before the shot is always perfect.
Yeah.
Like, how many times do you see a goalkeeper smother Erling Haaland? It rarely happens because and one-on-ones are really difficult. Anyone that's played football, like, it's really difficult to execute. Everyone's always like, oh, this is so easy, but he picks it early and he always picks it right. It's just phenomenal. Okay, so our team of the season so far, guys. Correct me if I've got this wrong at any stage. It's Robin Roefs, one of 2 Sunderland players. Great to see. Jurrien Timber. Then we had Gabriel and Saliba, I think. Left back was Cucurella. Midfield, we settled on the Xhaka, Rice, Caicedo midfield. That was a big... That was just settled is an interesting word for that part of the show. Left wing was Antoine Semenyo. No, sorry. Left wing was Antoine Semenyo.
Yeah.
Right wing was Ndiaye. That feels like the weakest position, but he has had a great season, and Erling Haaland topping it off. What a side.
Not bad.
Unbelievable side. Okay, guys, that has been the Lowdown for another week. Thank you so much for the contributions of Sam Obaseki and Alex Moneypenny. Everyone knows at Sky where to watch Obba's stuff. Go watch Obba's stuff, all his interviews, etc. But Alex, if they've enjoyed watching you, which they no doubt have, where can they find your stuff?
Find me on The Different Knock, Talking Arsenal, and personal channel, Alex Moneypenny.
What if I've got the channel that I want people to go to?
You
Go
can say
on,
whatever
plug.
you want.
Can I?
You plug wherever
Plug,
you
my
want.
friend.
Sam Obaseki on YouTube. Content is coming soon in the new year. It's coming soon.
That's exciting.
And what was I going to say? You know who we didn't shout out?
Who?
In Brumo. He
So
deserves
it starts the season, but he has been brilliant recently.
Yeah, he's been good recently.
I think he
so
definitely deserves the shout. Yeah, guys, let us know where we went wrong. I'm sure we went very wrong, according to a lot
No,
of
there'll
people
be
in the
total
comments.
agreement. You should They love it.
Thank you so much for watching, guys. We'll catch you soon. Bye-bye.